You know that feeling when you've been running on fumes for weeks, pushing through every single task like you're dragging yourself through mud, and then someone tells you to just take a break and you'll feel better? And you want to laugh because a break doesn't fix this. A weekend doesn't touch it. Sometimes, even a vacation barely makes a dent. That's because what you're experiencing isn't regular burnout. It's something that lives deeper in your nervous system, something that's been building since long before you noticed you were tired. ADHD burnout doesn't announce itself the way other kinds of exhaustion do. It doesn't show up after one intense week at work or after pulling a few all-nighters. It's the kind of tired that comes from spending years trying to fit your brain into systems that weren't designed for the way you think. It's the exhaustion that builds up from constantly translating the world into a language that makes sense to everyone else but feels foreign to you. And the tricky part is, you've probably been doing this translation work for so long that you don't even realize how much energy it costs you. Most people think burnout is about working too hard. And sure, that's part of it. But ADHD burnout is about working too hard at being someone you're not. It's about the invisible labor of forcing your brain to care about things it doesn't naturally find interesting. It's about spending hours on a task that should take 20 minutes because your brain refuses to cooperate, and then spending even more energy beating yourself up about it afterward. It's about starting every single day with a deficit because your brain needs 3 times the stimulation to feel even a fraction of the motivation that other people seem to access without effort. If you've ever felt that deep, bone-level tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, you're not alone. And if this is hitting close to home, consider subscribing and leaving a like. This channel is built around real experiences, not textbook definitions, and your support helps us keep these conversations going. Here's what makes ADHD burnout different. Your brain runs on a fuel called dopamine, and if you have ADHD, your tank is always lower than it should be. So you've learned to compensate. You've learned to chase deadlines because panic creates adrenaline, and adrenaline can substitute for the dopamine you don't have. You've learned to overfill your schedule because the pressure makes you feel alive, makes you feel functional. You've learned to say yes to everything because the novelty gives you that hit of engagement your brain is starving for. And for a while, it works. You pull off the impossible. You finish the project at the last second. You juggle 12 things at once and somehow land them all. People think you're amazing. You might even think you're amazing. But here's the thing nobody tells you. That system has an expiration date. Adrenaline is not a sustainable fuel source. It's borrowing energy from tomorrow to survive today. And when you do that every single day for months or years, eventually tomorrow comes, and the bill is due. That's when burnout arrives. Not with a bang, but with a slow crumbling. Suddenly the tricks that used to work don't work anymore. The deadline that used to light a fire under you just makes you freeze. The pressure that used to sharpen your focus now just makes your mind go blank. You sit down to do something simple, and your brain feels like it's swimming through fog. And the worst part is the guilt. Because you know you used to be able to do this. You remember the version of yourself who could pull all-nighters and churn out brilliant work at 3 in the morning. You remember being the person who thrived under chaos. So when you can't do it anymore, when you're staring at your screen and nothing is happening, you assume it's your fault. You tell yourself you're being lazy. You tell yourself you've lost your edge. You tell yourself you just need to try harder, focus more, care more. But trying harder when you're already burned out is like trying to squeeze water from a stone. There's nothing left to give. What makes this even more complicated is that ADHD burnout doesn't look like regular burnout from the outside. You might still be showing up. You might still be getting things done, at least on paper. But inside, you're running on autopilot, going through motions you've memorized, and every single action feels like you're moving underwater. People don't see it because you've gotten so good at masking, at performing normal, at hiding the fact that your internal experience is complete chaos. You've spent so long pretending that everything is fine that even you start to believe the performance. Until one day you can't pretend anymore. The other thing that makes ADHD burnout unique is the way it messes with your sense of time and accomplishment. When your brain doesn't produce dopamine efficiently, you don't get the normal feedback loop that tells you you've done a good job. You finish something big, and instead of feeling proud or satisfied, you just feel nothing. Or worse, you immediately start thinking about everything you didn't do, everything you still have to do, all the ways you could have done it better. So you never actually rest. Even when you're resting, your mind is running, cataloging failures, preparing for the next crisis. Your body might be sitting on the couch, but your nervous system is still in fight or flight mode, waiting for the next disaster. And because you don't get that hit of satisfaction from completing things, you stop trusting your own perception of effort. You can work for 6 hours straight and feel like you did nothing. You can accomplish something genuinely difficult and dismiss it as easy or obvious. Meanwhile, you'll spend 15 minutes looking for your keys and feel like you've run a marathon. Your internal experience of effort and your external output are completely disconnected, and that disconnection is exhausting all on its own. There's also this cycle that happens with rest. Regular burnout tells you to rest, and rest helps. ADHD burnout is different because rest doesn't feel restful. You take a day off, and you spend the whole day feeling guilty for not being productive. Or you try to relax, and your brain starts screaming at you with every unfinished task, every email you haven't answered, every obligation you're avoiding. So you can't actually rest because resting feels like failing. And then you go back to pushing, back to forcing, back to running on empty, and the cycle continues. You're either grinding yourself into the ground or drowning in guilt for not grinding. There's no middle space. There's no place where you're allowed to just be. One of the most painful parts of ADHD burnout is how it affects the things you love. The hobbies that used to light you up start to feel like chores. The creative projects that used to excite you become one more thing on the list you can't get to. You stop doing things just for fun because fun requires energy, and energy is the one resource you don't have. So you end up in this gray zone where you're too tired to do the things you have to do, but also too tired to do the things you want to do. You're stuck in a place where nothing feels good, and that lack of pleasure makes everything feel pointless, which makes it even harder to do anything, which makes you feel worse. It's a spiral, and once you're in it, it's hard to see a way out. And here's something people don't talk about enough. ADHD burnout often comes with this deep sense of shame. Shame that you can't keep up. Shame that you need more breaks than other people. Shame that you're struggling with things that seem easy for everyone else. Shame that you've let people down, that you've disappointed yourself, that you're not living up to the potential everyone always said you had. That shame is heavy. It sits on your chest and makes it hard to breathe. It tells you that you're broken, that you're too much and not enough at the same time, that you'll never get it together. And when you're already exhausted, that voice becomes deafening. But here's what you need to understand. None of this is a character flaw. This isn't about being weak or lazy or undisciplined. This is about a brain that processes reward and motivation differently. This is about spending your entire life in environments that weren't built for the way you think and doing your best to survive in them anyway. You're not failing. You're experiencing the natural consequence of trying to run a high-performance engine on the wrong kind of fuel for way too long. The truth is, your brain needs more dopamine to function, and the world doesn't give you enough sources of it. So you've been manufacturing it artificially through stress and urgency and chaos, and that system finally broke down. That's not your fault. You didn't choose to have a dopamine deficit. You didn't choose to need 3 times the stimulation to feel half the motivation. You've been doing the best you can with the brain you have, and the fact that you've made it this far is proof of your strength, not your weakness. Recovery from ADHD burnout doesn't look like regular recovery. It's not about a spa day or a good night's sleep. It's about fundamentally changing the way you relate to productivity and rest. It's about learning to notice when you're running on adrenaline instead of actual energy. It's about giving yourself permission to do less, to be less, to stop performing and just exist. It's about finding sources of dopamine that aren't tied to crisis or deadline. Things that feel good just because they feel good, not because they're productive or useful. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself, learning that rest is not the same as giving up, that taking care of your brain is not the same as being lazy. And maybe most importantly, it's about recognizing that you've been carrying an invisible weight your whole life. The weight of trying to be normal. The weight of compensating for a brain difference that nobody acknowledged. The weight of believing that if you just tried hard enough, you'd be able to function like everyone else. You can put that weight down now. You don't have to carry it anymore. You're not broken. Your brain just works differently. And the exhaustion you feel isn't because you're not trying hard enough. It's because you've been trying too hard in the wrong direction for too long. The system was never designed for you, and the fact that it's been grinding you down isn't a reflection of your worth or your capability. It's a reflection of a mismatch that was never your responsibility to fix alone. So if you're in the middle of ADHD burnout right now, if you're reading this and feeling seen for the first time in a long time, know that there's a way through. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, with small changes, with compassion, with the understanding that your brain needs different things, and that's okay. It happens when you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. And it happens when you finally give yourself permission to be exactly who you are, without apology, without shame, without the endless effort to be someone else. You've been running a race with weights strapped to your ankles, and you've been blaming yourself for not winning. Maybe it's time to take the weights off and see what happens when you stop competing and start living in a way that actually fits your brain. That's not giving up. That's finally being kind to yourself. And you deserve that kindness more than you know.